That does not go as planned. I forgot how fun slides are. Okay, hi. If you're new here, you probably, I don't know if you know that there's a silly side to me too. It's not just all serious on this vlog. I just went down a slide. I don't know how long I haven't gone down a slide, but that was actually fun. I'm at a playground, as you guys can see, and it seems to be fitting that I'm here because what I want to talk to you guys about today is a subject that I am learning lately. And even if it's, I might talk about my faith a bit as a Messianic Jew, but this can relate to anyone. So if this is something that you can relate to, let me know down in the comments. But it's the subject of being childlike, not childish, two different things, childlike. I feel like, I'm 34 today. There's something about growing older that causes you to just literally forget who you are. And it's funny because you think, okay, the more we grow, hopefully we grow also in wisdom, but because life can be difficult or because of your environment or, different things, it's really easy to get to the place where you forget certain things that you wanted to do in life or the type of person you wanted to be, or just things that you used to believe for yourself and suddenly you just don't believe for yourself anymore. And I know that since I was a kid, I was very, childlike in the sense of I would wonder out loud about certain things, and I would find, great pleasure in the mysteries of life and trying to understand why things are the way that they are, or I don't know, just anything, just looking at life and the certain beauties of life and just marveling over them. And I think that there's a memory that came to mind that sort of caught me like, oh, okay, that's the moment where I stopped believing for some specific thing, okay? So if this is too spiritual for you guys, just take it as it is. It doesn't have to be, entirely fitting your worldview, but this is sort of how I grew up. I grew up believing that there are angels, in the world, in the spiritual world, and sometimes God allows us to see those angels. And we lived in Texas at the time, and I remember my brother said that he had seen an angel. And I so wanted to see an angel too, wanted to see an angel, God, I want to see an angel. I want to see an angel. I want to see an angel. And I remember the day after I went to school, it was a Christian school, and I was looking outside of the window. And I mean, when I tell you I was looking outside of the window, I think the whole day I was literally like this, just looking outside the window to see if God would show me an angel, if I would see a wing or something. And I waited the whole day really truly believing that God would show me an angel, and lo and behold, he didn't. And I know that sounds, very naive. It's like, are you really expecting God to show you an angel? Yes. Yes, I had childlike faith and I was expecting him to show me something supernatural because I desired it. I wanted to see something of him and I didn't see it. Now, it could be something different in your life, It could be not anything to do with the supernatural. It could just be, when I grow up, I want to be, fill in the blank. You thought that your family life would look a certain thing and lo and behold, it didn't. You had certain desires that by a certain age you would have X, Y, Z, and then you didn't. Or even just believing in the goodness of people and the goodness of life. There's a lot of things that we, lose our innocence about in life because we realize that the world is cruel and can be evil, and that people aren't as nice as we think they are, or that they can do extremely traumatic things. And we quite literally lose the innocence and the joy of life that we once had as children. And we carry those things into our adult life. And sometimes we might even still pursue those things, but in the back of our mind, we still have that doubt, it never happens to me, or, it happens to everyone else but me, or life isn't fair, get over it. We just stop believing for those things and we put ourselves down. And I wonder to myself, how many of those things I used to believe for that I just don't anymore. You know, I used to believe that I'd be so financially stable that I'd be able to help other people. Well, guess who's in debt for the loan that she took out for her business that didn't take off, you know, immediately. And look who is living at her parents' house, and look who isn't married yet and doesn't have children yet, and look who, you know, like I could continue to tell you guys all the things that I can get discouraged about that make me feel like, wow, like I hoped that life would turn out a certain way, and it turned out the exact opposite. Bunny! Hi, Cuppy! I met Bunny, I met my friend, my little cupper friend. I like to see Bunny outside in his natural habitat. Gino, maybe I'll show you guys Bunny. Here's Bunny. Hi, Cuppy. Okay. He wants to roam around. Anyways, I like being around children because they're fearless, you know? They don't have any reservations about certain things. They're told that they can do something, so they just do it, and they believe that it can be done. My sister just sent this video of my nephew, Lavi. I call him Lugi. And his abuela took him out, you know, to this fun day, and he literally just jumps off this high place. He's a little tiny toddler kid, and he has no fear, and he just jumps. And he would do it again and again and again without the fear of getting hurt. I couldn't even go down the slide without being like, what's going to happen if I break a limb? You know, and we do that because of the fear of getting hurt. We take all of our dreams and all the things that we used to believe in or for, and we just either shut them down, water them down, talk ourselves out of things. And I don't like that. I don't like that I do that to myself. And if I hurt someone else, you know, talking about the things that they wanted to do and that they just don't believe for them anymore, I would sort of want to encourage them that maybe things can change. Now, there's a caveat here, right? Not every single dream that we have as a kid, you know, when we grow up, we realize maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, or it's a hobby and not so much, you know, my career or things like that. And that's a possibility too. And there's a mourning process to go through with that as well. But it's something that we choose and we're okay with because we realize that there's something better. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about the things that we know should be, and we just don't have any joy in those things anymore because now they just remind us of all the things that we don't have or haven't accomplished or just don't believe in anymore. And I'm thinking about a specific scripture. Let me find it for you guys. That talks about that if we come to him as little children. Also, I'm terrible at finding scriptures. I'm going to take this scripture out of its context so that we can compare it to something just a little bit more simple than this is talking about, okay? So it says basically here that the disciples were with Yeshua, with Jesus, and Jesus called a child to him, set him in the midst of them, and said, "Assuredly, I say to you, unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven." There's a whole completely different context in the actual scripture about this, but I want us to sort of think about it in a simple way, okay? In order to come into the kingdom or walk inside the promises of God or walk inside the promises for your life or fulfill your destiny, there has to be something in you that believes like a child, right? Okay, so if I now told my little nephew that, you know, when he gets to the age of 12, he can fly, well, he's going to believe me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for him not to believe me. I'm the adult. I am the giver of truth to him, and he believes me as the giver of truth. I, as an adult now, sometimes I forget to become like that little child that is just the receiver of truth. I don't have to believe in it for it to be true. I don't have to see it for it to be true. It just has to be the giver of truth that gives me that truth, right? So for me, that is God. And I think that what's important to remember in this situation is if that doesn't happen within the process of our adulthood again, then we become cynical adults. We become bitter adults. We become adults who don't pursue our dreams. We don't pursue our passions. We sometimes even doubt other people when they try to pursue their passions. And I think that it's so important for us to remember that we have a choice. The things that happen to us in life, the traumas, the disappointments, the constant hardship of life, it will bring us down. It will cause us to get to a place where we don't want to swim, we want to sink. And I am realizing about myself recently just how much of my adult life I have allowed for that to happen, because I've stopped becoming like that child that believes for good things. I think we need to take a deep breath. I know that I need to take a deep breath and just understand that it's okay to admit that I've been missing out. It's okay to admit that perhaps I have been the problem. I've been the problem. I have caused my own problems. I have caused myself to be in a place where the reason for my hardship is oftentimes me, because I am my greatest doubter, or I am my least greatest cheerleader. And I think it's about time that we change that. I'm not speaking to you from a place of like, I already know how it is to be on the other side, of this experience. I think that being an adult is a constant, like a reaffirming or a recapturing, a reclaiming of the child within us that will believe for the things that we stopped believing for. And I think one of the keys for me, at least as of now, and maybe that will change in the future and I can tell you guys more ways in which I've changed, but I think it's about not limiting my experience, not putting it in a box, not saying how it's going to be or how it's going to be fulfilled, just not putting terms on it, but just quite literally starting with being open to the fact that, okay, maybe it's much more simple than what I think. Maybe all I have to start with is just becoming a bit more like a child. Childlike, not childish. So a child will believe more easily, have faith more easily, be excited more easily, be expectant more easily. And perhaps there's a lot of good things that I'm already walking in their fulfillment, that because I'm not like a child, I don't even say thank you for the blessings that I already have. And I think it starts with that. Removing the expectations for what a certain thing should be and accepting the things that already are with grace, with gratitude, and just with a lot of embracing. Starting this process is the best thing that I can do for myself. I think that people that are like this are more joyful. And God knows that life is difficult enough and we all need just a little bit more joy in our lives. So that's it from me. I hope that you guys can share of your experience, even if you're not, a person of faith or not of the same faith as me. We all have our different experiences in life, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I really do read your comments and I try to comment back and talk to you guys and react to all of them. I think life can be better for us, so let's do that together. If you're new here, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I love you, and I'll see you guys. Me and Copper Bunny, we'll see you guys in a vlog very soon. Okay, bye.